Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Svelto Performance video. Today, we're back on the Spider, the 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider, the S4 generation version. Today, we're going to work on vacuum leaks. So this car has got a few vacuum leaks and ended up purchasing a smoke vacuum leak detector machine, whatever they call them. Anyway, I'll link below what kind I got, where I got it off of Amazon, so you can purchase one if you want it. They're great to have in your toolbox for sure on these types of cars. So today we're going to just go through and find the leaks and fix the leaks to get this thing performing better on the road. That's the goal of today's video. All right, guys, hang tight. Let me get everything set up, get the car moved around, and we'll get started. All right, guys, we have the leak detector installed in the car itself. So we've got it plugged up to the intake tube, and there's the bladder. And it's just got a handheld bulb that you press to expand the bladder itself. We're using a Solary automotive smoke leak detector machine. I think it's SD301. I'll link that below in the comments. And again, you'll see the bladder is in the intake tube and pumped up. So we'll go ahead and get Parker to start to turn on the smoke detector. It's just using baby oil in it. That's all it is, not a lot. And we'll get him to turn it on and see where the leaks are coming from. And as soon as he turns it on here, there you go. So there's one leak by the oil separator and then two leaks up there on the crossover tube. So why don't we go ahead and turn it off and get started on repairing the leaks one by one to make sure they're completely covered and no more leaks. So here we go. All right, guys, the oil separator hose has been cut back a little bit and I've got it stretched out. So for right now, we're going to leave it that way. It's fully sealed. It was just a crack in the hose just for age. So I'll find a new one and get it. Next, we're going to work on the crossover tube because there's two leaks that are happening there. So there's going to be one near the screw that I'll point out, and you can see it, but I really do believe it's coming from up underneath the rubber part of the crossover tube itself. And then the next one is the hose there connected to the side of the crossover tube. That one is leaking as well. So we'll get that fixed. First, we're going to focus on the one at the screw. I want to make sure that it's not a cracked crossover tube itself. I really don't think it is. But we'll focus there first. I'll definitely just try to see if I can tighten up the rubber portion of the crossover tube that goes into the intake. I'll just try to tighten that up a little bit, but those are our two leaks itself. We'll just have to kind of figure out where where it's coming from there, and then how to solve it, if it's a new clamp or in this case maybe a new crossover tube itself. All right, hang tight. All right, guys, I've got the bladder in the hard portion of the crossover tube, and we're going to get the machine turned on, and we're going to just see where the leaks are coming from. I really think that one by the screw was just leaking through the rubber crossover tube. I just don't think it was on good. So we'll clean that area up really well and then reinsert it to see. But we're going to focus mainly just between that screw, and then we're going to focus on the hose there that's connected to the crossover tube. So we'll have Parker turn on the leak detector, and all of a sudden there you go, you start seeing the smoke coming up. So definitely we got an issue here. We'll have to sort that one out. Not quite sure if it's just the clamp or there's a crack. We're not sure, but we'll figure it out. There's nothing coming from that screw, but you can see it coming out from around the bladder. So I'm pretty sure there's no cracked tube, at least there. So we'll get that tested out and see for sure. But we're going to focus on this hose here connecting to the side of the crossover tube and get that fixed. Might just start with a new bracket and see what happens. All right, let's get the machine turned off and see how we can fix that. All right, guys, got the bladder back in. We have fixed the hose. Well, we put a different clamp on the hose. So I pull the old one off and put a clamp. I really did feel like that was what the problem was. It just, nothing looked like it was cracked. So we'll get Parker to turn on the smoke machine here, and we'll watch this area. Remember, this is the area we're focusing on right now, one at a time. Instead of doing a lot at one time, we do one at a time so we can see what's going on. So as you can see, there's really no smoke coming out of it. Now there's smoke coming out of the bladder, but that's going to be normal. It's just not a perfect seal, but we are pushing a lot of smoke through this system. And as you can see, there's no leaks there. And then there's, of course, no leaks down on the hose at the oil separator. Definitely leaking out the crossover tube, but through the bladder. So not too concerned about that. So we'll get it turned off. This stuff stinks. Baby oil is not a good smell. So we release the bladder. So as you can see, the smoke is coming out of the crossover tube itself. So it looks like we've got that fixed. Now we're going to get the crossover tube back on it and do another test to see what happens. So hang tight and let me get all that put together. But so far we're looking good. We've got 2 major leaks fixed, which I think was what was starving this motor of power, or at least one of the things. So we got this fixed. So let's go ahead and get the crossover tube back on, or the rubber one, and see what we've got. And we're back. All right, we've got the flex crossover tube on, and I've got the bladder in. Now, if we're leaking a little bit here, I think it's because we've got this thing tilted up. So we're just going to go with it. I'm pretty sure there's no leak there, but we're going to get the machine turned back on and see what happens and go from there. But I think we might have everything solved. So Parker will go ahead and turn on the machine, and we'll just kind of look over everything and see if there's any smoke coming out for these areas that we have fixed. But I think we've got the 2 major leaks fixed. All right, so the machine is on, and I'm just looking around here. I'm not sure that I see any smoke. If you see any on the other side of the camera, let me know in the comments below. But I honestly don't see any smoke at all coming out. I really do believe we got this thing fixed. Thankfully, it wasn't that hard crossover tube, which normally is the case here. So we'll go ahead and turn it off and release the bladder, and that'll release all the smoke that's built up in the system. You'll see a bunch come out. There we go. That stuff stinks so bad. Anyway, baby oil smells great when it's on a baby. It stinks when it's heated up. So looks like we got everything put together. So let's wrap this video up. All right, guys, that is a wrap. So here you just saw we were able to fix the 2 major vacuum leaks in the car. We're going to take the car for a spin, come back and see what else. I know we've got a few other things we got to work on. Those will be in other videos. But I think the next video, as long as this is right, the next video coming up after this one, I think is going to be installing a performance chip on the Alfa, just to give it a little bit more power. Not a whole lot. I'm not looking to win drag races at all, or 0 to 60 numbers, but just to give it a little bit more power. So that might be the next video. So again, we appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. It truly does help this channel out. And hopefully we can continue to bring even more content, which would be great as well for the channel. A lot of Alfa content. And then also up here, as you can see, that is the GTV recommissioned build. And I'm looking right at the transmission mount, which is somewhere up there. We're going to work on that. So that'll be another video coming out on the GTV. So I know that we've been having a lot of feedback of people saying, hey, when's more videos coming out on it? It's coming, I promise. Just been ordering parts and things are coming in. So please like, subscribe, ring the bell. I just said that, but please like, subscribe, ring the bell. And as always, God bless.